Hey everyone, how's it going? It's part two, and first part of part two is Night of the Living Dead, that horror classic, masterpiece, awesomeness, and you know you love it, you know you do, you know that's one of the best movies ever made. Did I just do that, really? Seems like I did. Now, this movie is just great. I love this film. It's about these group of people who try and take refuge in this one house because there's an outbreak of flesh eaters, and how like the movie starts out really well. Like they don't even give any introduction to these monsters. They just put you right in the situation. They're walking through a graveyard, and boom, there's one of them. He's like attacking that one guy, and then the one girl's like running away, and wow, that's creepy. Anyway, and the one girl's trying to run away, but the thing's at like the thing's just like slowly moving along, and then it's like at her window, and she's just like, I'm gonna get you, and then she just like puts the pedal on it, and then she drives away, and so she's driving away. She finds this house, and she takes refuge in it, and then people start showing up too, and like this first black guy, I don't remember his name, I don't remember any of these guys' names, but I do know they were awesome. And they're all sitting in there, and they're trying to, figure these ways out. One of them says, okay, let's go in the basement. The other guy says, no, let's stay up here. And you see, I'm saying if you go in the basement, I agree, you have to stay up here there, because if you go in the basement, then you're pretty much screwed. But if you're up there, you can at least find some way out. But either way, they're pretty much screwed. And in the basement, they have their daughter who's been bitten by one of the monsters, and that's just bad, because they don't know what diseases those things could be carrying. That's one of the quotes from the movie. Anyways, wow, I gotta get that eye fixed. Then they, so they spend most of the time arguing. Then they figure out that there's a truck outside and they can get it to run. But the first they gotta get it with gasoline. So they try and drive the truck out so they can get gas for it. But unfortunately, the gasoline spills, and then the whole truck goes boom, and two people are inside of it. And then you see like the monsters just eating the flesh, and it's just like, oh my goodness, they're eating the flesh. They're actually eating that flesh. You know that's disgusting. And so they're then stuck in that house together. They're pretty much screwed at this point. And then the creatures are about to break in, and then the one girl, she gets pulled out into the monsters, and we can assume she gets eaten because you never see her again. Then the little girl who was bitten, she starts eating her parents. And then the last guy who's there actually gets into a fight with that little girl. And the weird thing is that the little girl didn't actually eat the one girl didn't eat her mother before she killed her. She actually stabbed her to death, which is a bit of interesting information there. And so then the last guy who's there, he gets up, and then he goes to the window. It's daytime at this point, and there's people that are hunting those creatures, and then bam, he gets shot right in the head, and then he gets burned alive. Isn't that just terrible? Then he, now people don't know this, but the vampires from The Last Man on Earth were actually inspirations for the creatures in Romero's Night of the Living Dead. And what's weird is that Richard Mason, the author of the original of the novel I Am Legend, actually said that that Night of the Living Dead was actually more true to his novel than any of the adaptations were. Take that, Will Smith. Anyways, this is better. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's better than that remake. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I don't really care. The original is the best because I actually feel pity for these characters. The newer characters, I just didn't. I don't care how much gore was in the newer one. It doesn't take a good amount of gore to get me scared. It takes scares to get me scared. Like, I have nothing wrong with the remake. The remake was good in its own rights, but I do like the original a lot more, and I mean a lot more. But I did like the remake more than the Dawn of the Dead remake, because everyone knows how much I hate that film. And I know I'm gonna get even more heat on that. The next one is House on Haunted Hill. forget which one came out first. To be honest, I have no idea which one came out first, Horror Hotel or House on a Hill. I think House on a Hill came out first, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna review that one. This one stars I love this guy, Vincent Price. May he rest in peace. He owns this house with his wife, and it's apparently haunted. So they have this contest thing to see how many people survive the night, and they get awarded $10,000. So they're pretty much there the whole night. They have an option to leave, but they don't take it. They each get a gun for some reason, but they don't really use them that much because they're more or less filled with blanks. They're going through the night, and all this weird stuff's happening. And as this weird stuff's going on, it's all just like, wow. And it's more or less a mystery film, because you're trying to figure out what's going on, but at the same time there's a lot of horror stuff going on, and it's pretty darn strange too. Like, you see this one girl that's just sitting there hanged from the roof, and then you see her ghost just like on the outside. And you figure out at the end of the film that it was all just a setup to get the one Vincent Price to die, but he doesn't, thank God, because, well, even though he died in a lot of his films, like The Last Man on Earth, he knew it was a trap the whole along. Then he killed the two people who were part of the trap. But who the two people are, I'm not gonna tell you. I am really energetic right now, and I'm not concentrating. It's really weird. And the last one is Horror Hotel. Now this one's pretty good. This one was pretty weird. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites around the entire set, even though I think I like Nosferatu, Night of the Living Dead best of them all. It's pretty much about this one town that used to believe in witches, and they believe that they burn all the witches, but there's rumors that there's still one left. So this one girl who wants to write about it goes there, and she starts investigating and getting a little too much into it, and she gets killed off by the witches. And then her boyfriend and this one girl then go to that town, and they then try to kill in order to try to figure out what happened. Two of the townspeople who do not believe in this, they believe that what's going on, but they don't want to be a part of the witch stuff. They tell them what's going on, and then it's the time for the sacrificing and all that. They figure out what's going on, and they figure out that one of their teachers were actually partially behind it, and he was actually a witch too. And he was played by Christopher Lee, who we all know is a great horror actor, like in playing Dracula and playing in The Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man, not that remake. And so they try to get out alive, but it turns out that there's a lot of those witches out there. But the one person pulls out a cross, and he starts zapping them with the cross because they hate holy objects, because they're witches and they hate God. And then they all get away happily. Hooray, happy ending. Anyways, good box set if you're into classic horror films. If you're not into old black and white horror films, don't pick this up. It's only for us old school horror fans. And like I said, Nosferatu, Night of the Living Dead, and Last Man on Earth best on this set, even though I didn't mention The Last Man on Earth. Good set. I highly recommend it. It comes with Sounds of Horror CD, but I don't have that right now. It's up in my room. Anyways, that's my review. Later.